All right, let's get right into it. The superhero movie world is basically a battlefield, and 2026, it's shaping up to be one of the most important years yet. This is where James Gunn's brand new DC universe gets its first real stress test against the full might of Marvel. And that really is the big question, isn't it? Can this new DCU, with a whole new vision, actually survive the massive storm that's heading its way? Honestly, the stakes have never been higher.
So you might be asking, why 2026 specifically? Well, it's because 2025 is going to be pretty quiet. It's all about setting the foundation with just Superman and Peacemaker Season 2. But 2026, that's the year the DCU truly launches into the fray.
So what is DC bringing to this fight? Well, they've got a really focused strategy. They're not throwing everything at the wall. Instead, they have three major projects lined up to introduce us to their new universe. First up, hitting theaters in June, is Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow. This is a huge deal. It's the first big movie after Superman kicks things off, and it's supposed to give us a very, very different take on Supergirl than we've ever seen before. Then, we've got the one a lot of people have been waiting for, the Green Lantern series. It was pushed back a bit, but this thing is a cornerstone for the DCU. They're promising a big cosmic detective story. And to finish out the year in September, we get Clayface. Now, this is a fascinating choice, right? A movie centered on a villain so early on. It tells you that DC is ready to take some big creative swings right from the start. Okay, so that's DC's lineup. Now, let's talk about the behemoth they're facing. To put it mildly, Marvel is coming back in 2026 with an absolute arsenal. They're not messing around. I mean, just look at this slate. You've got two massive films, a new Spider-Man and an Avengers movie. And that's not all. On the TV side, you've got Wonder Man, a second season of Daredevil, more X-Men 97, and Vision Quest. It is a full-on content blitz. And when you lay it out like this, I mean, the numbers don't lie. It's 3 projects from the new DCU going up against 6 from the MCU. This isn't just a friendly competition, it's a battle for every eyeball and every dollar out there. But hey, it's not just about how many movies you can churn out, right? This fight is going to come down to who the audience wants to see more. It's all about character popularity. And really, it all boils down to this one matchup. You've got Supergirl, a hero that's basically brand new to this cinematic universe, going head-to-head with Spider-Man, arguably one of the most popular characters on the entire planet. You know, this quote just absolutely nails the problem DC is facing. When you ask anyone to name the biggest heroes, it's always Superman, Batman, and Spider-Man. Supergirl just isn't in that same top tier of public consciousness. It is a seriously tough matchup. So if you're DC and you see this coming, what do? Well, it looks like they've learned a thing or two. The plan isn't to go for a knockout. The strategy is much, much smarter. It's about survival. It's not about winning 2026, it's about making it to 2027 in one piece. And the way they're doing that is with a classic Hollywood move called strategic counter-programming. The old DC would have tried to go toe-to-toe with Marvel. The new DC, they seem to get that you don't pick a fight with the biggest guy in the room. You wait for your moment. And if you look at the calendar, you can see this exact strategy in action. Supergirl lands in June. Then Marvel's Spider-Man comes out in July. See that? They're giving Supergirl a whole month of clean air to make its money and build some buzz. That is absolutely crucial. So let's break it down. DC's survival plan really has 3 simple steps. 1. Avoid a direct fight by releasing movies in less crowded times. 2. Manage your money. Redefine what success even means. And 3. Focus on making something good. The goal is to win over critics and audiences with quality, not just spectacle. So what does managing the money actually look like? Well, for a movie like Supergirl, success probably doesn't mean $1 billion. Word is, if the movie can pull in somewhere around $550 to $600 million worldwide, that'll be considered a solid win. And that's a much more realistic goal. And this way of thinking is exactly why a movie like Clayface makes so much sense. I mean, just look at Joker. That was a smaller budget, deep dive into a villain's psyche, and it became a $1 billion hit that won an Oscar. DC is clearly hoping to catch a little of that same magic again. All of this brings us back to the man in charge of this whole new universe, James Gunn. If the entire strategy is based on survival instead of total domination, how do we even judge if he's succeeding in 2026? For 2026, the goal isn't to beat Marvel, it's just to hit those required success numbers. For Acclaim, it's not about being the biggest thing out there, it's about building positive momentum. And for James Gunn himself, the test isn't to win the year, it's just to survive it so he can get to his bigger projects down the line. And that's really the key thing to remember here. There's a reason James Gunn's contract reportedly goes through 2027. His real test is going to be the bigger movies he's planning, like Man of Tomorrow. 2026 is all about laying a solid foundation.
Look, this quote really puts it all in perspective. It's a bit of a reality check, but it's probably true. DC is playing the long game. For the next few years, it's going to be Marvel's world. DC's strategy is all about a slow, steady climb so that one day they can compete for that #1 spot. But that leaves us with one last question, and it's a big one. A survival strategy is smart, it's calculated, but is it enough? Can a universe that's built on avoiding fights and managing expectations ever build up the kind of massive, passionate fan base it needs to actually go toe-to-toe with the biggest in the game? I guess we're all going to start finding that out in 2026.